Hello and welcome to the Spiritual Hangout. I am Leslie Damai. If you're new to the channel, big welcome. And if you're returning, I am so grateful to you as well. So today we're going to talk a bit about matrix, about hive mind mentality. And I want you to really take a close look at your own life and kind of see how this information can really help to serve as a reminder, because many of you guys are going to already be aware of these concepts that I'm speaking of. And for those of you that are new to these types of concepts, which really run this reality, I want you to keep an open mind as well. So the matrix is also in your mind. It's not just what we perceive and our mind decodes as this third dimensional reality. The same external confinements exist in your mind. Our minds have the access point to the collective unconscious that resides within the very fibers of this reality. This is the thick veil. This is one of the thick veils people talk about, which the human species has constructed since its origins. There's a great description of it, of the collective unconscious, and it's actually often defined as the whole spiritual heritage of mankind's evolution in the brain structure of every individual. The collective unconscious is rich in matrix programming from humans whose consciousness has already been diminished systematically by dark forces. So all of this continues to be and continues to veil over everyone's minds very systematically. So while we have our own programs as well, our individual programs which reside in the subconscious mind, there is also this vast collective unconscious that people tap into more frequently than not. And it's really interesting because this really explains a lot of the odd behavior we see when we're out and about. As a high vibrational person, you're going to be more aware of this type of weird, just glaze people have over their eyes about how people are like zombies. And if you live in cities, I mean, how people are literally zombies walking around in the street. So this is an important concept to remember when you are deprogramming yourself as well. This is part of becoming spiritually sovereign, to be free of this illusion. And once you begin to deprogram, the common themes that are most prevalent for you in your specific, unique human experience, you really begin to gain clarity and increase your ability to evolve beyond this illusion that has really trapped humanity into having these limited, destructive, fear-based mindsets. It sort of becomes this whole fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Not in the literal sense, but in a way that you hold yourself accountable and that you are the creator of your reality. You are more invested in overcoming the obstacles that may lower your consciousness. Excuse me, I had to step away because there was a very loud sound coming from downstairs. And so this is just one of the things you're going to notice. When you start having high vibrational conversations, when you start revealing the truth, there's going to be distractions left and right. And I actually reacted to this one because it was extremely loud. I don't know if you guys heard it. I'm probably going to cut it out, but this is just typical. You're going to be getting the loud buses, the loud motorcycles, the loud mufflers, all of a sudden 20 people visiting your neighbor. You're going to get all these anomalies coming up. And I'm sure we all have so many of them. But this collective unconscious state is often encountered externally and works through other people. So this is a perfect example. When others project their programs onto you, programs they probably just picked up off some low vibrational conversation, off of some mainstream news show, or whatever, the main outlets put out, the latest loosh harvesting narratives they call news. That's where they pump it out to the mainstream. That's what the mainstream intakes. That's what they're filling their consciousness with. That's what they're basing their reality on. these people that really live their life off of what's being fed out to them by the dark forces, they're going to try and get you into their frequency, because that's what they're programmed to do. They try to suck you into the frequency and mindset, hence the name, the term hive mind. There is no true individuality. There is no true unique, creative, explorative, outside of the box, directly from spirit ideas going through them. It's all recycled agendas, recycled programs. So if you're operating from a low state of consciousness, constantly going about your day to day in the subconscious programs and collective mind, you are basically a biological robot, a zombie to the system. And it's functioning with very low levels of will. There is no true will, no grit. And reality is dense. It's filled with hijacked souls. There is zero possibility for magic and freedom to be sustained there. So these are shackles placed upon humanity's minds by dark forces, beings, and entities, an army of vessels to look like normal people, but they're actually running off of this dark energy. These dark forces control the 3D earth paradigm. Therefore, when you are in the hive mind mindset, you operate from that space. You are in their reality. And this is where souls are dimmed in the darkness. This is when life begins to feel like a rat race, or like you're on a hamster wheel. Just low frequency habits to give you little hits of dopamine to get you by. This is when people get really weird, gross addictions. This is when people have just low habits, when they don't do anything. There's no will, there's nothing going on there. And I don't care what the excuse is. I don't care what your job is. I don't care about any of that. Like, that is a waste of your expression. You are able to express yourself in an infinite amount of ways. And when you do that, I don't want to be around that. Do you want to be around that? That is not the type of energy that is going to feed you in a nurturing, expansive way. So what else is that but the opposite of being spiritually sovereign? Consciousness is everything, but there's a difference, and there's different states and levels of consciousness. So it's pretty interesting, because I'm a nurse, and I haven't been a nurse for a long time, but I've had my nursing degree for years. And when I was training, one of our first clinical rotations is to evaluate the patients and get their LOC, their level of consciousness. And it's a very low scale. So the way that the medical industry in the United States trains their first responders is by having them take patients' level of consciousness. And it's going to go something like this. Can I have your first and last name? Do you know the date, the year? Okay. And do you know your address? Do you know who the president is? All right, you passed with flying colors. That is how they evaluate levels of consciousness. The same industry that is supposed to be saving people's lives, same industry that is supposed to be prioritizing your health, mental, physical, from your eyeballs to, your toes. This is the scale used. And I understand it's a cognitive scale, but do you see how it just lacks any true spirit? Even if you're high vibrational, you can become derailed from spiritual sovereignty when low conscious individuals give you advice and you go with that. So many people do this. Stop looking for external advice and sit with yourself, slow down your mind until the thoughts stop going off 1,000 miles per hour, and ask yourself. We have to start taking ourselves accountable, because when you're asking random people, when you're asking Sally Joe, next cubicle over from you, you have to understand these people are operating from a fear-based controlled state, which means they lack will and connection with spirit. And I'll give you an example, because it's not just Sally Joe next to you in your cubicle. Okay, this can be family, friends, really close friends, old friends, neighbors, everybody. Okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say when I was nursing, right? And I would complain or something. And I'd say, oh, mom, I had to work 60 hours and I am still having to pay this off, you start kind of spewing out the financial programs, because that in itself is its own slavery. And you kind of want inspiring advice, and and you're already kind of spiritual. So you already know there's more to life than this, but you're still stuck in it. So you just want to feel better, and you ask your mom for some advice, and you just want to vent. And she goes, well, that's life. That's life. And you know what? At least you have a good job, and you'll have time to do all that stuff later. Just keep doing what you're doing. Thank God you have a job. Okay. That is what keeps people trapped in the matrix, is to take advice like that. No, that is not life. Okay, that is what sucks the very life out of you. That is what sucks the life force energy out of you. So be careful who you're getting advice from, because you would not ask for advice about money to a homeless person who steals for a living, would you? So be more sovereign with who you're letting into your reality, who you're asking for advice from, even if you take it or not. You don't have to keep spewing out your stories of how you're stuck here, stuck there to everyone you meet. You are only reconfirming that. So when you become more attuned to higher states, you can easily recognize programs projected through the hive mind mentality, which most people operate from. Too many people rely on others for false reassurance, which only delays one's sovereignty. A great way, though, to get past the dense skunk that we encounter in the matrix. You must begin to understand that when you open up your mind to limitless possibilities, your mind will be receptive to a new reality, to whatever reality you are envisioning or thinking. Everything begins with a thought, right? So this is what expands your consciousness. You open yourself up to new possibilities, abilities, realities, new streams of consciousness can flow through you effortlessly. So the takeaway is really to remember, despite what you might be working against, despite what's working against humanity's rise of consciousness, you are capable of opening your mind up to infinite awareness where all is possible in this present moment. If you are operating from a low conscious state, constantly going about your day-to-day and subconscious programs and the collective hive mind, means that you're operating in their mental prison. Okay? So these dark forces control the 3D Earth paradigm. When you operate from that space, you're in their reality. This is what it's called to wake up. It's to wake up to living in that mindset. However, you already have the tools within you to break free from their reality. The same thing that can blind you with illusions can also free you. Okay, so brain plasticity, neuroplasticity allows for reprogramming, quick lasting upgrades. You can train your brain, and the same goes with your mind and thoughts. You can perceive your reality in a higher state of existence simply by training the mind rather than it controlling you. There are so many ways to do this. One of the ways, let's just talk about silence. Silence of the mind, silence of the programs, silence away from the collective hive mind mentality. It enables you to reach higher states of consciousness. It allows you to get into higher energy centers within you. Quiet the mind and truth is revealed, they say. It needs no words. The truth needs no words. There are no words there. The path to these higher states of consciousness are reached by silencing the mind and deplugging from the programs and no longer falling for the bait anymore. Okay, so what else can we do? We can breathe consciously with no distractions, slow down the brain waves until you can enter different states that can no longer be infiltrated by the collective. It all starts with a thought. So what thoughts are you feeding? What abilities are you nurturing? Begin to dream huge. I don't even want to say the word big because it's not big enough. Begin to dream just out of this world, way outside of the social norms, to the point where 99% of the population is probably going to call you crazy for daring to dream so large. Your reality will eventually match the frequency you put out. Whatever your mind puts out, your reality is going to bring it back to you. It ripples out to every cell, into your neighbor, into your household, into the earth paradigm, and beyond. And it comes back into you. Your reality is capable, you're capable of channeling divine knowledge from spirit, of reconnecting with spirit. You can then bring that divine knowledge back into this reality. This is how we can ripple out love and divine intelligence for everyone, for this reality. This is one way to take down the oppressors of the earth matrix. We don't just do this for ourselves, but for every sentient being who remains trapped. So you take this extremely volatile hive mind that's going on right now in our world. This is what explains so much of what we are seeing. And we then reprogram that too. So again, ask yourself, what thoughts are you feeding? What energies are you immersing yourself in? If you're seeking further guidance, I have created a course, Deprogram Your Shadow, and I show you the most effective and powerful ways to begin to do this. An interactive step-by-step guide, limited time offer for only $99 where you can deprogram your shadows and begin to reprogram your reality. It looks different for everyone. So check out the link below and begin to do the work, begin to explore these different states of awareness, begin to expand your consciousness, begin to find peace in your heart and really be able to feel that presence everywhere you go so that the matrix isn't pushing you over anymore, so that you're not falling back into the hive mind mindset. If you want one-on-one guidance, I also have an application below that you can fill out for my spiritual coaching. I look forward to watching your reality become one where you are in your full power. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share with anyone that you think would benefit from this. I'm sending you so much love.